Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The January 9th, 2019 meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and facts presented tonight. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondents will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chair and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of the materials submitted by the staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the city attorney, to the attorney for the city. At this time, I will ask all persons who expect to give testimony tonight to stand and be sworn in by the Deputy City Clerk.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes.
Cases will be taken out of order to accommodate respondents and witnesses present at tonight's meeting. For the board members, the first case will be heard first, second case second. The 5th case will be third, and then we will do the lien reduction and come back to the rest. Okay, first order is you've all received the minutes and had a chance to read them and make any changes. Are there any changes for tonight?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Napke, second by Poglarovich. And there being no comments, right? Call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays. First case, please.
Case number 183667, City versus William Warner, for the property located at 501 Courtney Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of section 8-102-13C roof, maintained in good repair, and section 1034 sanitation, keep premises clean. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence of the notice of violation and notice of hearing will properly served.
Good evening, board members. Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated August 22nd, 2018. My inspection at the time revealed overgrowth conditions in the front yard, vines on walls, roof vegetation, cluttered carport along with a large tree branch in the front yard, and driveway clutter. This time left door hangers with a compliance date of August 29th, 2018. An inspection on October 3rd, 2018 revealed no change. I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of October 18th, 2018. Posted a notice at the home as well as City Hall. Also mailed copies, both certified and regular mail, to the registered owner of the residence. On inspection on December 17, 2018, revealed the grass cut and the vines removed from the wall. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on December 17, 2018. Photograph number 1 is going to show the cluttered carport. Photograph number 2 is going to show the driveway clutter and a glass aquarium in the yard. Photo number 3 is going to show the large tree limb in the front yard, and exhibit number 4 is going to show the roof vegetation.
Board will accept. Okay, hold on to that. We need to roll back just a tad. We need to do the ex parte portion for all the cases tonight.
Okay, good evening. At this time, I'd like to ask the members of the board if they've had any ex parte communications regarding any matters coming before the board this evening.
I've had none.
None?
None. I've had none.
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 Okay.
Okay.
And lastly, if anybody's received any written communications related to any matter before the board this evening?
I've not.
Seeing nothing.
No.
None.
No.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. Proceed. Thank you, Colin.
As of today, I did conduct another inspection at the residence. The large tree limb that's in the front yard, the photo has been cut and is stacked at the curb for a pickup. And the roof vegetation from the one photo has been cleared from the roof. I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance for the roof vegetation.
The board will accept.
As of this date, the aquarium is still in the front yard and the carport is still cluttered.
So what you're saying is the compliance is for 8-102.
The roof vegetation, which is photo number 4.
But section 8-102.
Excuse me, sir?
Code section 8-102 is
Yes, sir, for the roof vegetation.
That's in
That's in
That's in
compliance.
in
compliance.
That's
compliance.
in compliance.
10-34 is still out of compliance.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, Mr. Silva? There being none, are you finished?
I'm done, sir.
Okay, the person that's here to present? Okay. You want to come up, give your name and address?
My name is Rebecca Warner. I reside at 501 Courtney Drive with my husband, William Warner.
Okay.
We did receive notification, however, let me rephrase that. Notification was put in our door on August 29th of 2018. It was placed in our front door, which we do not use. We use the door through our carport. So we did not actually receive this notification until the second notification was put on October 3rd, I believe it was. At that time, many of these initial citations had already been corrected, which are not being addressed tonight. At that point, I called and asked for clarification for some of the vague terminology, such as growth on the roof. No call was returned. I work 3 jobs because my husband is a disabled veteran, so I do the primary breadwinning and the primary house maintenance. So during my winter break from teaching, I got on the roof, I cleaned the roof, I cleaned the driveway, which was dirty, and I'm working on the carport, but I've still not received information as to what is permissible and what is not permissible. I have a neighbor as well who walks the neighborhood and says that our carport is not even the most cluttered, worst, filled with garbage or anything within the neighborhood. So as soon as I have clarification as to what the expectations are, I would love to meet them, but I have not been met with cooperation in remedying this.
Okay. Any questions for Rebecca?
So you left a message at City Hall for someone to call you back and they never responded?
I left a message with the phone number that was provided by Jose.
Okay.
Mr. Nappi?
Did you, excuse me, did you get the
mail and the certified mail about it?
Yes, that was after the initial that we didn't comply with because we were unaware. We did receive the certified, we signed for it. As he said, progress has been made, but some of the things that I'm still confused as to what the expectation is, I don't know how to remedy it. I have a riding lawnmower, so that I'm able to manage our yard, and it is parked in the carport. Is that not allowed? I have a grill. Is that not allowed? There are other houses that have these items. So until I have exactly what is considered clutter and debris and accumulation, I don't know how to repair it.
Okay, looking at the pictures, there is quite a bit of clutter strewn across the front of the house. That's clutter, okay? So you got to look at that as being something that you can do something about. You got it there, you can clean it up. As far as what else can be left in your carport, I mean, carport is different than out in the general area in the front yard, okay? And you can get with Mr. Silva, you can, Officer Silva can explain to you more in detail if you need more detail on what clutter is, okay?
Well, and those initial photos, I had just received a large shipment. I don't believe there were photos of the carport presented from today with the continued clutter, correct?
It's still cluttered.
Yes, but to see that none of the things in the front are there, that all of the cardboard boxes have been broken down and were removed, and everything is aligning on the walls with the exception of our recycling bins, which are running down the center between the two cars. So that's where I'm trying to figure out what I am and am not allowed to have. And I did reach out, and I have screen grabs of my call log and not receiving a response to get clarification as to what that is.
Well, I'm sure you will get a response. If he can, is the number good so that he can talk to you during the day?
No, because
So-
I'm a teacher,
Well,
so
he's a person that works the day hours also, so it makes it, I mean, we can go on forever if we can't arrange something, some way to get together.
but no attempt was made. I don't have a voicemail, I don't have a missed call,
Well, you got
so I couldn't even arrange to do it during a planning period or something like that.
Were you off for Christmas vacation? The holiday?
I was.
There's a lot of
I
days.
was, and
there
at that
isn't.
point, we had already received the notice to appear tonight, and I spent numerous days remedying the situation. I cleaned the entire roof. I was on the roof for 4 days. I cleaned the driveway, because that was another one that I was told was out of compliance, was the dirty driveway. And I made effort to clean the
We
carport.
appreciate that. Okay.
If I may.
David?
Right now, the only thing that's out of compliance is section 10-34, which is sanitation. The roof is fine,
Right.
that's in compliance. You can get with him after this meeting, after you're done today, now. He can get with you, and he can give you some guidelines as to what, I mean, certainly, the aquarium sitting in the front yard, you gotta do something with that.
Right.
Okay? So-
It weighs more than I do, so I needed help
Yeah,
moving it. And
yeah.
it has been moved out of the driveway, and I just need to get somebody
But
to help me
he can give you some
move it, move
guidance
it.
tonight.
Yeah.
And then he'll have a reinspection, and hopefully we can get this remedied, okay?
Okay. Is there another person wishing to speak? Name and address, please.
I'm Arlene Rumor, and I'm at 504 Courtney.
Arlene?
Arlene Rumor. And I wanted to speak, I live kind of on an angle across from Maria and Will. And even though they may have a lot of stuff under their carport, I don't know how much more tidy they can keep things, because I know she does a lot of work with rescue animals of different types. So she's gone a lot, with picking up, and they drop them off to her, and she has to have them in cages and stuff, which is a lot of the stuff that's under her carport. She has a lawnmower there, a barbecue grill, the normal things that I think everybody in our neighborhood have. But I walk my dog on a daily basis, a lot of times in the mornings and in the evenings. I've been cut down some because of my brace, but, I go as far as I can go. And I will tell you that I see Jose in our neighborhood a lot. okay? So, the idea that he can't have some kind of contact with her other than to leave her citations, I think is a lot of baloney. And that whole thing with, he works during the daytime, she works during the daytime. To me, if you find time to come up there and leave a citation, can't you come back at another time? Because he's in our neighborhood, like I say, a lot. It ain't just one time, one day. It's different times of the day, sometimes the same day. There's a lot of homes in our neighborhood that have mold growing on the walls that have not been cited. There's things under their carport, and when I say things under the carport, they can't even begin to park a car under their carport. Most of them, there's quite a few that can't even walk under their carport to go into their side door. Maria and Will, I know, use their side door. They don't use their front door. We don't use our front door. We use our side door because my car is parked underneath there. But, it's kind of depending on who you talk to and how long you've been there. It seems like the people that are new in our neighborhood get cited a lot more than people that have lived there a long time. So I'm just kind of questioning the codes as far as what gets grandfathered in and what just, because I've even went to his office, down here at the city hall, and spoke to him in person about how do we remove the blinders? Because it can't just be, it's one thing if you have city codes, but let's have them for everyone in that whole neighborhood. Not just people that, like she said, she works 3 jobs, may not have the time to put as much effort as she needs to put in it. Her husband's not able to do that kind of stuff, I'm willing to help out any neighbor that, needs help, to the extent that I can, but it's gotta be fairness. It's gotta be above board to everybody out there.
Right,
Not
and-
just certain people.
Right, and we don't know how many other people have been cited or
Right.
not. There,
Well, I know,
There could be-
that Rhea, had photos. I, at one point, had probably 20 photos of people, like, parked on the grass, because that was one of my things. When he took over, he cited me for parking on mulch. Well, when Joe was here, Joe's the one that told me that I could use the mulch from the tree that I had to have taken down and had to pay for a permit and the whole 9 yards, that I could use that for my driveway to the side. Because they said that was the most environmentally, efficient material to use. Then I found out when Jose took over that, no, that's substandard. So then I had to put in patio pavers to be able to park on. So, it's kind of like, we need something in writing, and even if you have photos, to what is allowed and not allowed, and not just for some people, but for everyone in the neighborhood.
I understand. Rebecca, again, please. Does anyone have a question for Arlene first? There being none. Rebecca, how long do you think that it would take you to get, at first, what you think is, and after Hosea talks with you this evening, how long do you think that you would need to come into compliance?
I thought that I had made great progress toward complying with the carport. It is much more organized. There is nothing out in the open. It is all back against walls.
But how
So-
long do you think that it would take you once you,
It'll depend on if everything has to come out of the carport, it'll be sometime in February, potentially spring break, depending on my work schedule.
okay, normally what happens here tonight, just so you're kind of prepared,
Right, because this is also completely foreign.
we're hearing
To
the
me.
case, and we normally make a decision on the case, a finding or a fine, and you get 30 days. It's usually until the next meeting, which the next meeting is on the 13th, I think it is, 13th of February.
13th of February.
So that would give you over 30 days.
I can definitely make progress towards it, again, depending on what that expectation is.
Right.
It may not be completed because I work multiple jobs. So I teach 5 days a week and then I'm working on the weekend. So depending on what I have free to do the carport, I can definitely make progress by then. I just can't promise it will meet the expectation until I know what that is.
Right, I understand. Mr. Napke?
Excuse me. I find it difficult to ask her for a time period when she doesn't, at this point, it's not clear what she needs to do. If she's cleaned up the carport, as she says, and it's neat and clean around the edges, I mean, what else can you do with a carport?
They'll
You know,
just,
unless you need to put it all inside. And if we're going to get into that, then there's a lot of work for code to do, not just in this neighborhood, but all over the city.
that's right.
And that's fine with me, but I agree with what they've said about being consistent. And I'm not saying code has not been consistent. I'm just saying she's trying to get an explanation of what she's going to agree to, and we're not able to tell her what that means, but we're asking her for a time period.
Right,
to
well,
agree
what I wanted to get the point across was that she is going to find out tonight what it is and how she can go about doing it to the extent of what, to come into compliance
Right.
or make a great attempt at it. And then the other thing is that you would have 30 days. So you're not just sitting over there stewing and worrying about this.
Well, I mean, I spent my entire Christmas break working on it. I'm not sitting stewing on it.
No, I mean tonight, whatever's
Okay.
happening here tonight.
Okay, I'm like, I've been trying to make gains, I promise. It's not like I just
I'm not
sit there
trying to
and
make,
be meh.
I'm trying not to make
Although
this any more
sometimes I'm
painful
meh.
than it seems.
Because some days you just feel defeated.
Yes.
Mr. Warner, will you be home tomorrow?
I have work tomorrow.
You'll have to work
You
tomorrow?
actually had to take off tonight.
What I'll do is I'll come by the house. I'll make time to meet with them, to look at the carport and get with them and tell them what needs to be done. There has been some improvement, but there's still a mess out there that could be tidied up a little bit better than what it is right now. Previously, there was empty boxes, like she said, there was empty Coke boxes stacked to the ceiling all over the place. They have made progress, but it still can be tidied up a little bit cleaner and tighter.
I understand. Rebecca, one more question.
Yes.
You teach school, so.
I do.
What time do you get home after school?
It depends. Today I came straight from a meeting. So it really, I'm at one of the
On-
achievement schools, so there's a lot more expectation on us, and our school day is an hour longer than the rest of the district.
Okay. An hour, but you would be, just so that you try to get you two together.
4:30 typically is gonna be like the earliest I would be able to get home most days.
Can work with that.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, very good.
Can I also add, I'm right across the street, and I would be more than happy if you
No,
wanted
no,
to point
no.
out things to me or write them down.
You want, you have to come up to the mic if you're going to speak.
We're all learning.
I'm sorry.
Name
Do I
again.
need to give my name and address
Just a
again?
name again.
Okay, Arlene Rumor. What I was gonna say is that I would be more than happy to meet with him. I'm off tomorrow afternoon and Friday, if you give me a time. And I'll walk over and we'll write it all down. Or take pictures. I have a phone, I can take pictures and give it to Rhea and Will. And that way we're all on the same page.
You want to set a time?
What time?
I'm there after about 2 tomorrow, and then I'm there all day Friday.
2:30.
Works for me. 2:30 is good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank all of you.
Very good.
Yeah, because I definitely won't be home by 4:30 tomorrow.
Do you have a contact number for her?
I'm gonna get it now.
Please share that with me.
Okay, thank you. There are no other questions, I believe. Okay, at this point, I ask my board for a motion. Anyone do a motion?
Sure, let me take a crack at it.
David?
Thank you. I'm sorry, ma'am, but what was your name again?
Me?
Yes, you.
Arlene Rumor.
Rumor, thank you. Okay, based on the testimony tonight of Officer, oh, Christ,
Silva?
Silva, thank you. Officer Silva, as well as the testimony of Rebecca Warner and Ms. Rumar, presented to the board this hearing and the documentary evidence received by the board, and make a motion that the board find William Warner in case number 18-3667 to be guilty of violating sections 8-102, subparagraph 13C, and 10-34 of the city code, but because section 8-102, subsection 13C, were brought into compliance before the date of hearing, no fine shall be assessed on those violations. However, because section 10-34 remains out of compliance, the respondent shall be given until February 13th to come into compliance with these code sections. If the property is not brought into full compliance by that date, a fine of $50 per day shall begin to accrue on the day following the compliance date and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into full compliance.
I have a motion by Mr. David. Do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Newkirk. Board discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? No nays. Okay, Bean, we have a pending date tomorrow, and you find out what compliance will mean. And if you're coming into compliance before February 13th, no fine, it'll be in compliance, so there will be no fine. If it doesn't come into compliance by that date, the fine will begin to accrue on the 14th. But I recommend that you stay in contact with Mr. Silva, Officer Silva, on progress and what have you, so. But they, like you say, do get around in the neighborhoods frequently, so we'll take care of this one, and then we'll go on from here,
She's also welcome, sorry.
okay?
She's welcome to come up here on the 13th and
Well, she can come on the 13th. Yeah. Well, to give us progress. Hopefully, they're in compliance by then. Thank you. Next case, please.
Case number 183701, City versus Linda Yeoman, for property located at 89810 Terrace Lane. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of section 8-102-13B. Exterior walls maintained in good repair. The case is being prosecuted this evening by Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence of the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board
Good evening.
members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer, City of Temple Terrace. This case originated proactively by me on August 23rd, 2018. My inspection on that date revealed stained exterior walls, and I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of September 4th, 2018. My inspection on September 19th, 2018 showed no change, so a notice of violation was prepared on September 19th, 2018 with a compliance date of October 14th, 2018. No one was at home, so I posted the notice at the house as well as at City Hall, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address. The homeowner did leave me a message stating that the site was in compliance by the compliance date, but my reinspection showed that the site still to be out of compliance, so I left a note for the resident with additional time to come into compliance. My reinspection on December 19th, 2018 revealed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on December 20th, 2018. The case was scheduled for the January Municipal Code Board meeting. At this time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on December 20th, 2018.
The board will accept,
And actually, I didn't print them. I guess we're just going to see them electronically.
okay? Now,
Exhibit 1 shows an exterior stained wall, and Exhibit 2 shows an exterior stained wall.
In the corner, in the corner.
I'm not seeing it on the second one.
No, I forgot to print it, I'm sorry. At this time, the site is not in compliance, I'm looking for a ruling.
It's not in compliance.
It's not in compliance.
Okay. Is, any questions? Linda is here, I believe. Okay. Linda? Yes. Come on up.
My name is Linda Yeoman, Yeoman, and I reside at 9810 Terrace Trail Lane. And yes, I did receive a notification of noncompliance, of code compliance, and I did call the officer because I was told that, it was very vague. It says stains on the wall, stains and fading and paint on the walls. I know my property is not derelict. I take good care of my property. And so I did call and say, okay, can you let me know stains, what stains? He said, well, there's stains in walls, there's stains on your walls. So I hired a pressure washer to come, and yeah, it was the second notification where I did hire someone. And it was due on October 14th. I was supposed to have complied. He came out on October 5th. I had him pressure wash my entire house from the street side where you can see it. I think Officer Doug Allen did tell me that the side of the house and the gable underneath the house. I said, okay, so I paid them a little extra, and so they pressure washed that side of the house as well. I paid about $400 to get all of this done. I called, I said, hey, come inspect it, and then a few days later, because I don't use my front door, I use the garage, I happened to be outside, and this was on my front door. The right peak needs to be cleaned. I have no idea what you're talking about. So, if you're looking from my street, the pictures that you saw, you would have to go to the other side of the cul-de-sac to see it, and that's where the misunderstanding came in. I thought he was looking for my street view. So I'm having work done to my house. I mean, Hurricane Irma, tree fell on my house, so I had a lot of structural damage. I just have been working to get my roof replaced. I have interior damage that I'm getting fixed right now. I had the guy, when I finally figured out what he meant by right peak side, I called the guy to pressure wash, and he said, well, actually, you're going to need to have your house painted, which was a project that I was going to do this year anyway. So Friday, I am going to get a quote to have my entire house painted, and hopefully by then I will be in compliance. But again, my house is in no way, I take good care of my property. I take pride in my property. So,
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with the greening that comes onto our buildings, so.
I have a
and
lot of
sidewalks and
trees.
garage driveways. So, yeah,
Yeah.
and if you have trees, it's even more.
Yes.
I have the same, I have to keep at it,
Mm-hmm.
but, like I was telling the lady before, that, if we're going to have a motion here tonight, and do you feel that you'd be able to have everything brought into compliance by, February 13th?
I would hope so. I'm ready to go with the painting. He's going to give me the quote. It's all going to be dependent on when they can do the job. And I'm hoping they can do it before the
Right.
13th.
Okay. Any other questions? Do you have anything else to add, or,
No, I don't.
all right? I
I
think you
was
got
not
it covered.
expecting this.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Rodriguez? Hernandez? Hernandez. You raised your hand. You haven't been sworn in.
Pertaining to her situation.
No, sir, you can't just talk out. Have you been sworn in? Okay. Are you going to speak on this case?
I was just.
Are you going to speak on this case?
Yes, I would.
Okay, please rise.
Raise your hand.
I do.
Okay,
No, I didn't want to
Name-
interrupt
name-
on this case because I have my own case.
name and address?
Vincent Hernandez, 105 Deer Park.
Okay.
All I wanted to mention is that I am a contractor, and if I'd be more than happy to give a quote to help her out and to get it done in time for her. That's all I wanted.
Okay,
That's my only thing.
all right.
Okay.
Okay, call for a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion.
Mr. Plah,
Based upon the testimony of Code Compliance Officer Mr. Allen and Miss Linda Yeoman, presented to the board at this hearing, and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Linda Yeoman in case number 183701 to be guilty of violating sections 8-102 13B of the city code and give the respondents until February the 13th to come into compliance with the code section in the question. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $50 per day shall begin to accrue on the day following compliance date, which would be February the 14th, and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Newkirk. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? No nays. Ma'am, there has been a guilt found and a fine of $50 per day that will begin to accrue if you're not in compliance on February 13th. It'll start accruing on the 14th, okay? You look like it sounds like you're on your way to getting it resolved, so.
I want this resolved as quickly as possible, so
Right.
yes.
We do too, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next case,
Case number 18-5260, City versus Carrie Hartsfield, for the property located at 10017 North 52nd Street. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of section 12-8593, RVs, boats, and trailers non-commercial. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Director Tom Barone. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
My voice is a little raspy, so if you don't understand something, just ask me at the final, okay? But this case this evening is a repeat violation case that I was presented to the Municipal Code Enforcement Board in December of 2014 and February of 2016, where the respondent was found guilty with no fine. I would like to submit the orders in both of those cases at this time.
Board will accept.
Thank you.
On November 24th and the 28th of 2018, my inspection at University Townhomes noted once again the utility trailer in the driveway unscreened from view. From the last case that was taken to the Code Board back in February of 2017 till November 29th, 2018, there were 5 other cases open at this property for unscreened trailer, but the respondent was warned and it was corrected by the respondent. On November 29th, on November 28th, when I observed the violation, I noticed a repeat violation was prepared on November 29th of 2018, and I posted the notice at the front gate and requested copies be sent out first class and certified mail. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me. Exhibit number 1 shows a photo taken on November 24th of this unscreened trailer in the driveway. Exhibit number 2 shows a photo that was taken by me on November 28th of the unscreened trailer in the driveway. Exhibit number 3 was taken on December 1st, 2018, of an unscreened trailer in the driveway. Exhibit number 4 shows the trailer once again on December 8th, unscreened from view. Exhibit number 5, this photo was taken on December 20th, unscreened trailer. This exhibit number 6 was taken on December 21st, unscreened trailer. On the photo of the trailer unscreened on December 31st, 2018. I'd like to submit these photos.
Board will accept. Has there been any direct communications with the,
The only communications I've had with this gentleman was at the code board hearings in 2017 and 2014. I was the primary code officer for 10 years at this University Townhomes. I've had probably over 20 cases about this trailer. Like I said, he was taken to the code board twice. He was both found guilty with no fine at that time. So again, I just want the board to know, he also has a city parking lot, which is like 400 feet away from his property, that he could store this trailer there. Other people in that development store their trailers, their RVs, but he chooses not to park it over there. So he has a capability of an area to park for free. So, but he chooses to park it in the driveway. So I'm going to submit an affidavit of compliance, because as my inspection this morning, the trailer wasn't in the driveway, it was in the parking lot. But since I issued the notice on November 29th, I have to give him 10 days to gain service for the notice of repeat violation. So from December 8th, he was in violation. December 20th, he was in violation. December 21st and the 31st. So those 4 days, he was out of compliance. So I'm looking for a finding and the board's decision. But I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance at this time.
the board will accept?
I believe the owner is here tonight.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me, sir?
Mr. David?
I know on our parking on the grass code that there are exceptions that for if you have parties or if you're just parking there overnight or something. Are there similar exceptions for trailers? If that trailer is there just overnight, is that still a violation?
It's still
Still a violation. So
Yes,
there's
sir.
there's no exceptions
There's no
that are
timeframes.
allowed
No.
for trailers of that. If
No.
it was, it keeps saying non-commercial. If it was a commercial trailer
Then it wouldn't be allowed in a residential zone.
area at all,
At all,
okay,
unless you're unloading and loading the trailer.
okay,
Otherwise, with boats and RVs, we give them 48 hours to clean, to maintain the vehicle or the recreational vehicle.
Okay.
But otherwise, trailers don't have that time frame.
that time frame. Okay. So if it's there for 10 minutes, it's a violation.
Well, you got to use discretion, but.
Understood.
You know, if he's just coming home for lunch, there's a thing called discretion.
Yeah.
But these are inspections at 7 a.m. in the morning, 6:30 in the morning on my way into work.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, Bill?
Do you happen to know what the amount of the daily fine was on the previous violation?
There was no fine.
Oh, there was no fine?
No.
Okay.
Any other questions? Mr. Hartshorn?
Hartsfield.
My name's Brian Kane. I'm the wife of Carrie Hartsfield. It's my truck and trailer that's
Excuse me, I didn't know that. What was your name again?
Brian, B-R-I-A-N, last name Kane, K-A-N-E.
Thank you.
We've obviously been through this before. Last time we were here, I think if it was ever found again, there would be a automatic $50 a day fine for noncompliance. I had a coworker that things were said, and I had to take safety into issue for at least a few weeks. So I made the decision that if one or two times was worth $50, $100, $150, it's worth it than what was the other outcome may have been. Now, normally it is pretty safe over there in the parking, and I try to take advantage of it. But through this few-week period, it just, I had to weigh my odds, and I chose to go the way I do. So I'm perfectly willing to accept the consequences for that, and that's pretty much about it.
Okay. Do you do pressure washing?
No, but I've been to this a couple times, and it's interesting that it's almost like you should have a consult here of someone that can, because a lot of these people that don't do this stuff, they just simply don't have the ability. I mean, I can do what I do, but I hear some of these cases where people are older, they're disabled, they work, they're single mothers, and now they're worrying about eaves and peaks that they don't even understand. So I don't know, I was thinking about that back there, like a,
Day service, yes.
yeah,
Okay, any other questions? Ms.
I don't have a question, I do have a statement. I'm going to be recusing myself from this particular matter. I am friends with Brian, and it wouldn't be right for me to vote for or against that.
You can still do your
And
job.
I will say, though, that, if someone were threatening my livelihood, I probably would have rolled the dice the same way he did, so.
Okay, any other questions?
well, that's not very reclusing yourself then.
Mr. Snell?
Just to go back to the point that you made, that you felt like there was some, I wouldn't say danger, or what, a threat to your property, so
Yeah.
I think Director Baroni was commenting, this wasn't the first time that this had happened, there were multiple.
No.
What's happened in the previous times, was there a reasoning for that?
Well, honestly, I didn't like it. I've had boats, I've had trailers, and I have a life, and I didn't like the rule. And I went back and forth with him for years over it.
Okay.
The last time I was here, it was pretty much put down that, if you're gonna get caught here, this is the price you're gonna pay. So, that's when, coming into Christmas and everything that was going on, it was just, if I get caught for 4 or 5 days, that's a couple $100. That's a lot less than what may could happen. I have novelty tools, I have interest, there's a lot of money in that thing. And sitting 400 yards away doesn't sound like much, but when there's thousands of dollars at stake, when you're backing it up against the wall and you're pulling your fuse out to make sure that during the night, away from, I have dogs, if it's near the house, they're gonna hear that, but over there, not so much, so. It was just I had to, but yes, as far as my past, it was basically going back and forth with not agreeing with the rule, because basically it was gone a lot during the day and it was just a nighttime thing, so. But I went as far as I could with that until, you guys made your point, and so that's fine.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Mr. Barone?
I'd just like to make one comment and ask Brian, how many times did you call me to let me know that you're having an issue with an employee?
Oh, no.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
You have any other questions? Okay. Yes, sir. Mr. Cullen?
Colin Rice, legal advisor. Just want to make the board aware of one thing. This case is the city versus Carrie Hartsfield. We do not have Carrie Hartsfield present tonight. I just want the board to be aware that any fine levied would run with the property.
Right, and he did indicate that he is attached to the property.
We were married right here, right in this room.
Okay. Any other comments?
But if she needs to be, later on, or, if I need to let her know she needs to come down here, that's fine.
Yeah, I think you'll deal with that.
She yells at me too about this. That's why she makes me come down here.
All right. Okay, call for a motion. Thank you, by the way. You can
Am I
have
good?
a seat.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Based upon the testimony Code Director Baroni and Brian Kane presented to the board this evening, and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find the respondent Carrie Hartsfield in case number 18-5260 to be guilty of a repeat violation of sections 12-859, parent 3, of the city code and assess a fine of $100 per day against the respondent for the days that the repeat violation has existed prior to this hearing, and in addition, assess a daily fine of $100 a day, which will continue to accrue until the date the violator provides city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
The property is in compliance.
And I read the wrong thing. I'm sorry.
Well,
It
it's
is, and
a
it-
different case. It was out of compliance for 4 days,
Okay,
but it's in compliance tonight.
okay.
So it was a.
So it's in compliance as of the hearing date?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's correct.
All right, I'll try it again. Based upon the testimony of Director Barone and Brian Kane, presented this board, to this board here at this hearing, and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Carrie Hartsfield in case number 18-5260 to be guilty of violating sections 12-859, parent 3 of the city code. But because the property was brought into compliance before the date of this meeting, I will recommend $100 a day fine for the 4 days they were out of compliance per day.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, second by Snelling. Any discussion? There being none, I call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays, and 1 abstention.
I'll give you a paper back.
Mr. Mr. Kane, we got it tied together tonight, okay? You're in compliance as of Mr. Barone's citing, but you're being fined for the 4 days that you were out of. Yeah, okay. Thank you. And that's the lien reduction next.
Good evening, Tom Barone, Code Compliance Director. At this time, I would like to introduce this lien reduction petition request in case number 17-1667, City versus Berkeley Capital LLC, property location of 511 Caroline Street with a lien amount of $7,750. This case originated back on August 10th, 2017 for overgrown conditions. I presented this case to the Code Board on September 13, 2017, where the board found the owner guilty with a $50 per day fine, which accrued a lien amount of $7,750. With 11 inspections by Code Compliance, city cost was $410, and the city clerk's cost was $115, totaling $525. Being that the violation was not a health and safety issue and the property was unoccupied, my recommendation to the board is to lower the lien from $7,750 to $800. My inspection of the property today just noted that they're installing a new roof and they're also installing a new AC unit, that both repairs were permitted. So I just want the board to know that the owner is making new improvements to the home, so he is spending some money on the property as well.
Okay, thank you. The owner is here.
You want to come up?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. My name is Billy Trent for the property at 511 Caroline Street. And I just wanted to present my case that the reason why I committed this violation because I was not aware of the violation. I moved from from California to Texas in 2017, and I was relying on the post office mail forwarding service for my mails. But apparently, I learned later that the post office does not forward certified mails, only regular mails. So I learned from Ms. Garcia at the city that they sent a certified letter to my previous address in San Jose, California, and it wasn't forwarded to me, so I was not aware of the violation. And when Director Baroni called me on Friday, March 16, I learned of the violation and I took corrective action immediately. I brought that into compliance on Tuesday, March 20th, and the grass has been mowed bi-monthly since then, and now I'm making improvements to the property to make it, in moving ready condition to sell it to another buyer. Thank you.
Good. Any questions? There being none, thank you. All right, call for a motion. Mr. Snelling.
In case number 17-11667 for the property located at 511 Carolyn Street. Upon hearing the facts and arguments from the city and property owner, I hereby move the board recommend to city council that the lien be reduced from $7,750 to, pardon me, what was the city? To $800 as recommended by Director Baroni, contingent upon the fine being paid within 30 days of the council's decision, or it will revert to the original amount of $7,750, and the city is authorized to enforce the fine in accordance with the law.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dave. Any discussion? There being none, call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay? No nays. The fine has been reduced to $800 from the $7,750, and it will be presented to the city council and probably be in February, either the first or second Tuesday in February. And the city clerk will let you know what that is. You'll get information. And I'll be presenting to the council our findings, and you can come to the meeting and represent yourself, say what you want, or you don't have to come to the meeting. It's up to you. But and you will know what the date is. The city clerk will let you know. Okay? Thank you. City clerk, are we going to go down to the Hernandez rehearing? He's here, so let's, well, the case, you back there, the guy in the red shirt, he has a different case? Okay, well, let's go to the rehearing of the lien, this other lien thing down under new business. No, not that one. You want it under new business? Okay. Yeah, let's take it now and. We'll break tradition here.
Tom Baroni, Code Compliance Director. Mr. Vincent Hernandez is here this evening. He came to my office earlier today, and he would like to speak to the board about his lien reduction. So at this time, I'll let Mr. Hernandez come in front of you and make his request.
Okay.
Sir?
Good evening, board members. Vincent Hernandez, 105 Deer Park.
Thank you.
Okay, I understand my lien reduction is down to 1925, I believe. 1925, and I have until January 18th to pay that. Otherwise, it gets brought back up to the the amount that it was.
Right.
And I
35,000.
previously got burnt on the job, and I thought I'd have the money. I wanted this passed and behind me. But I started another job, but according to drawers, I get my end completion on a certain date. So I won't be able to come up with all of that within, because it was Christmas and everything else over there from December 18th to January 18th. So that 30 days makes it very difficult for me to come up with. So I would ask the board to, if I can get some kind of an extension to pay that, or, a certain payment amount per week or something that I can do that's more feasible, that's more workable.
When do you think you could take care of it? If everything goes as well as it is today, okay?
Excuse me?
If everything proceeds like it is today, how long do you think that, when do you think you could pay it?
If I can be granted maybe 30 days more, 30 days from today or whatever date, that's all I would need.
Do you think that you could, now, I'm speaking of sitting in this chair, I'm not sitting as the city, but what, if, I don't want to get into any dealings, but if you meet with, I guess you start with Tom, but if you're going to do a payment plan, which would probably be easier for you, instead of stringing it out 30 days and 30 days and
Correct.
whatever, because it'd be.
Order, Chairman. I'm not sure that it's even within our purview
To recommend to them?
to recommend a payment plan or a 30 days or whatever. I think he's got to go back in front of council, which is going to be
And ask
after.
them, that's
Which is
true.
going to be after, well, next week, I guess, is the 15th, 3 days before it's due. Go ahead, Pam.
The reason why we suggested that Mr. Hernandez come tonight is because the expiration of his time to pay was going to be before the next council meeting. So he would already be in default, and it would automatically revert to the
Yes.
old amount. That's why we suggested that he at least come and present his plea to somebody today. If you feel that this is something that you cannot recommend to council when it gets on their agenda, we'll be happy to put him on council's next agenda, but we wanted to, for his sake, it's for him to make a record that he did come back before a board that was available to him to make his request before the automatic reversion. We don't have anything in the rules about how that works. Your recommendation is to council is generally how much to reduce the lien by.
Right.
That seems to come with an automatic, you must pay this in 30 days or else it reverts. So we haven't really had the situation where somebody has come and asked for more time. I can let you know, though, that we do have another person who is in the same boat and is probably, we're going to have another one, not tonight, but he might be able to come directly to council before his expires. But that was Mr. Hernandez's situation today. I'm willing to, I'm not offering any particular answer to this. I'd rather hear what your feelings are about doing this as a recommendation to council, simply to give him more time, and we can let council decide whether to give him a payment plan or just say you've got 30 more days or 60 more days.
If I may, since I've probably been around here longer than most people, this did come up before. The Holland case came up, and he wanted to extend the payments out. At the time, you probably remember. Yeah, quite a few years ago. He came up, and he wanted to extend the payment plan out 90 days, and we told him no. So there is precedent.
Okay?
But I don't know that this board has the ability to just say, okay, yeah, now just pay it in February instead of January. I don't think we have that authorization.
No, it would have to be as a recommendation to
Recommendation to
council,
council,
just
yeah.
as you made the initial recommendation on the reduction of the lien. And I know the Holland case, but I don't know the circumstances of him asking for that reduction. So I'm assuming that council was the one that told him no.
They were.
And so you can either pass this straight to council and let him come in front of council and we can get it. I know the agenda just went out today for the meeting on the 15th. So we could probably add him, but it would most likely go to February. So,
And what would happen, if I may, what would happen, he would essentially be in violation because it would be heard after it reverted back. So there would have to be another hearing to, I mean, even if we said tonight, if we passed a motion that we recommend to council that we give him another 30 days, he's still going to be in violation because council's the only one that can say yea or nay.
Right.
So-
correct, technically he is in violation, but, I guess coming here and essentially making a motion to give him more time or to,
Well, we wouldn't be
something.
making a motion to
So-
give him more time. We'd be making a motion to recommend to council that they give him more time.
Well,
That's the only thing
when
we
I
can
s-
do.
I'm sorry, when I
Yeah.
said making a motion, I look at it still as a court case. He's kind of making the motion to you.
Yeah.
Asking you to make a recommendation to council to give him more time.
But our
At least
recommend-
something will have been
Yeah,
done.
but our recommendation isn't
It's not
permission.
binding.
It's not
right.
permission.
No.
So, he would still be in the same position he is now with this, this board that felt sorry for him, or whatever you want to call it, that said, okay, yeah, we recommend to council, but council has the final decision. So if it's not heard on the 15th, by any way you want to look at it, he's going to be in violation by the time it comes up for hearing in February. Now, I don't know what happens when that happens. I don't know that it's ever happened. I don't know if we send Louis out with a baseball bat or what, but,
We were
But-
kind of hoping that by him presenting this to you, it would sort of stay, the running of the time.
but we don't have the
So-
permission to do that. We
Right.
can't stay a case.
So it was just to put it on the record that he didn't wait till it expired before he came forward.
Right.
If you want to pass on this entirely and make no motion, that's your option, and he can come in front of council, we'll put him on the agenda, he'll have to throw himself on the mercy of,
Well, he's doing that anyway. I
council.
mean, our recommendation is still going to be there too late.
We don't, it's out of our hands right now. And for him to coming here tonight and even if by decree I said, well, we need to get that on the agenda for next Tuesday, which miracles can happen. And so we give him 3 days, but we're not really giving him 3 days. We're telling the council that we said, well, we'd like you to, because he came to the meeting and his fine would have reverted back on the 15th, but it's the 18th, and we're going to throw it on you, and you decide. And they're the ones that decide because they're the ones that it's in their hands. We gave it to them, and they've agreed, they went along with the plan and the reduction, and, we don't want to go on and on and on, months and months and months either, because we're not the people that's going to say, well, yeah, we could let you have a program where you can pay $100 a month. We can't make that decision. So, and I don't know if the council is willing to make that decision, but somebody in the city that handles money probably can do something like that, but not us.
there are just no written procedures on how to handle this type of a request.
And it would, just as another suggestion, I'm not telling anybody to do anything, it would seem to me that if we're looking for good faith efforts and coming here is an act of good faith, given, you guys can take partial payments on fines, I assume. If he were to give you $100 and say he's trying to pay it down, I think that would go a longer way than, well, the code board said give him 30 days.
That was my suggestion earlier today,
Yeah.
some good faith
Yeah,
money.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have made
yeah.
that suggestion for both individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally agree. But as far as the procedures to ask for more time, we don't have any procedures in place at this time.
And
We're
it-
just, we just didn't want to miss, for his sake, we didn't want to miss a chance, and that's why he's here tonight.
Well, I would suggest that the city clerk talk to the city manager and see if you can get that on the agenda for the council meeting next week. And if that's, and just, we'll have the discussion, Mr. Hernandez can be at that meeting, right? Tuesday, and present his case to them that he's presented to us, or however he wants to do it.
That's fine with us.
A
Well,
request
and I
for
think,
perm,
but I think also, I think the city council needs to fully understand that it's not that we didn't want to make a decision, we are unable to make a decision.
Okay. I will let them know. I mean, as I said, there are no written procedures as to how this should be done when someone runs into this situation. That's something that we need to work on creating.
right,
So,
We're not punting, we're just saying that it's out of our purview.
okay,
right. Yes, we did our thing with it, and I presented it to the council,
okay.
so,
And it's on this record now.
yes. Okay,
I agree with what she's saying, I mean, and as well as if I can get onto that meeting where I can present that to the council, at which time I'd be, some monies would already have been paid at that point. I know I'm not gonna have all the full amount, so say 1,500 if it would be done, or whatever, a dollar amount, at least I'm coming through there, I am in showing good faith. I'm coming to the meeting and I'm asking for a little bit extension, that's all.
uh,
As long as something is
Yeah.
paid, maybe they'll.
go ahead and
you know,
reserve
the proof is
Tuesday.
in the pudding, basically, so as long as something is paid, so at least then this way I can get an extension from there. I just don't want it concrete where 18th, and I'm falling out of the calendar of when the council has something, so I'm not able to, because that doesn't,
Well, the city will be aware of any payments you've made and any, that can all be wrapped into this presentation. And I don't know how they're gonna figure it out, we're not in that business, so
understood. Understood.
I
And
just reserve the night, and if you're not on the agenda, you can go back home.
Right, well, I left work at night, I'm working day and night to come here for this, for something to happen, so, I mean, I'm trying, it's difficult. And I also agree with Brian, I mean, maybe there is some kind of council, certain neighborhoods do have something where there's other contractors, or something to help everybody keep the neighborhood better, I mean, when you, in certain fields or certain, certain trades, I mean, it can help out where they don't get robbed for $400 or $500 pressure washing.
Right,
You
I
know.
agree, yep.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then,
We're gonna switch first just for one case on the unfinished MCV cases.
okay,
Case number 318-3665, City versus Rebecca Marinat, for property located at 406 Dunedin Avenue. The expiration of compliance is tonight at midnight, and I'm not sure if you've been sworn in or not. Okay.
he was, yes.
What are we under?
Unfinished business?
Unfinished
second
business, okay.
Let's see, unfinished, this one.
This one, perfect, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's 18, wasn't it, something? Oh. Thank you. We're not sure either.
Hi.
Name and address, please.
Joshua Cottrell, 406 Dunedin Avenue.
Josh?
Joshua Cottrell. Yeah, I'm the tenant there. I guess the owner is
Okay.
whatever name you guys said. I've never met the person.
Okay,
But, so basically, I was here last time, and I have a vehicle that isn't registered that was off, it was mostly on the driveway, but it was actually partially on the grass. And I talked to Mr. Silva, and he talked to me about ways that I could come into compliance, and was very helpful. So I moved the vehicle off of the grass. I got that part done. And I had every intention to get the rest done with the money I get from the GI Bill. but that money didn't come in on the 1st. It's supposed to be here on Friday. So I have every intention of completing the task that he gave me over the weekend, if I can get a little more time.
Okay. Well, you're relying on the check that's not coming Friday, in all likelihood.
Oh, no, the appropriations for the
You
VA
got
are
that.
good.
Okay.
So,
All right, so many days?
a week,
A week,
Yeah.
7 days?
that's good for me, if that's okay.
Okay, I appreciate your coming in before instead of after,
Yeah.
you know, because, I mean, it is good. This is an unusual one, too, but I think that in this particular case, he's making progress, and he is waiting on the money that's coming, and he's asked for only 7 days.
7 days.
And I think to avoid, to give him that extra 7 days.
Okay. I move to extend the deadline for compliance from January, what's today? Today the 9th? Today, from January 9th to January 16th.
Oh, that's my birthday.
Good birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
If it doesn't come to compliance, then the fine of $30 shall continue the following day.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Hubert. You were first. Okay, any discussion?
One-
Mr. Nappi?
Director Barone, do you agree with this 7-day extension?
The city has no problem with that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Motion, vote, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay, no nays.
All right, thank you.
You got 7 days.
Thank you. And any attorneys that are present, if you're looking for a paralegal with an associate's degree and 8 years' experience. I'm good. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
You can do a payroll deduction on your fine.
All right, so we're going back to 184444. City versus Edgar D. and Perla V. Ziegler for property located at 9228 Overlook Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 10-34 sanitation, keep premises clean. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer, City of Temple Terrace. This case originated proactively by me on October 10th, 2018. My inspection on that date revealed a cluttered carport. I left a door hanger with a re-inspection date of October 31st, 2018. My inspection on October 31st, 2018 showed no change, so a notice of violation was prepared on December 6, 2018, with a compliance date of December 21st, 2018. No one was at home, so I posted the notice at the home as well as at City Hall, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address. My re-inspection on December 21st, 2018 revealed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on December 21st, 2018. The case was scheduled for the January Municipal Code Board meeting. I've had no contact with the property owner, but the carport has been cleaned up, and at this time, I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm requesting a finding.
The board will accept.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, just thought I'd wait in case anybody had a question.
Are there any questions? There being none? Call for a motion? David?
Based on testimony of Officer Doug Allen, presented to the board at this hearing, and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Edgar D. and Perla V. Ziegler in case number 18-4444 to be guilty of violating sections 10-34 of the city code, but because the property has been brought into compliance before the day of the hearing, no fine shall be assessed.
Any discussion? You second it?
I second it.
Mr. Napke, second it. Any discussion? There being none, I call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Next case.
Case number 185122, City versus Federal National Mortgage Association for the property located at 505 Brentwood Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 102.14A fences maintained in good repair and Section 102.13K hardware screens duty to maintain. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively on November 20, 2018, after a change of ownership occurred with the property. I went immediately to a notice of violation with a compliance date of November 5th, 2018. The home is vacant, so I posted a notice at the home as well as City Hall, also mailed copies both certified and regular mail to the address of the new current registered owner. An inspection on December 13, 2018 revealed no change. This time I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on November 20th and December 14th, 2018. Exhibit number 1 is going to be the notice posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 is going to be the fence in disrepair along River Hills Drive, along with exhibit number 3. Exhibit number 4 is going to be the torn pool screens on the pool enclosure in the backyard.
Board will accept.
Thank you.
As of this date, there's been no change at the residence. Property still remains out of compliance.
Is that fence just the property's fence, or is it a
That
community fence?
That fence belongs to
To the property?
505 Brentwood.
Excuse me. I thought maybe you were going to say some more. Are there any questions,
Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Napke?
This house was in foreclosure. It's been
It's-
sold,
It's come out of foreclosure.
right?
It's changed hands. Now it's owned by the bank. It's currently up for sale by the bank. So it's bank-owned right at this point.
But the fence is, and the screen enclosure's been this way for years.
Yes, sir.
Is it because we've got a new owner that may respond that we're jumping at it, or?
The bank owns it. They don't want to sink any more money into it than they need to. I have been in contact with a representative from the bank. They do plan to pull the fence down and repair the screen enclosure. That's the bare minimum. They want to invest money into the home.
Are they going to clean what may be living in the pool? Inside the
pool-
screen, out?
The pool has a trampoline cover over it, so by code, it's in compliance
Okay.
with the trampoline cover. So they are going to put new screen around on the cage to bring it into compliance and pull the fence down. The representative said they don't want to invest the money. They want to let the new owner remodel it to their flavor.
Having gone by there many, 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 many times, the fence might be better looking than what's behind the fence.
Actually, the backyard is not bad.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
David, do you still have a question?
No, I'm good.
Any other questions? Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion. Based on the testimony of Jose Silva, presented to the board at this hearing, the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Federal National Mortgage Association in case number 18-5122 to be guilty of violating sections 8-102 subsection 14A of the city code and give the respondents until February 13th? Is that the right date? February 13th to come into compliance with the code sections in question. The property is not brought in compliance by that date, a fine of $50 per day shall begin to accrue on the following day and continue to accrue until that date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Snelling.
Were they two outstanding sections?
Two
There's two
sections.
sections.
I'm sorry, I missed one yet. It's sections 8-102 subsection 14A and section 102 subsection 13K. Thank you.
I'll still second.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, how much was the fine?
$50 per day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Mr.
There's
Newkirk.
two violations. I thought we normally move that up to $100 a day. $50 for each violation.
Or it could be $25 for each violation.
That's just a suggestion.
Any other comment?
Kind of, yeah, just a quick question. If this has been
Mr.
like,
Hubert?
yeah, if it has been like this for years, why is this the first time that we're seeing it?
This was a foreclosure property. This was already presented to the code board under the previous owner. Then the bank took ownership. That's what happens. So the fine on that property stopped, and now he cited the new owner, which is the bank. That's what we're doing. So when this is sold, the fine will stop again, and he'll present, if it's still out of compliance, we'll be presenting another case to the board under the new ownership.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
But it
Mr.
should-
Napke?
Do we ever go back and try to get from owner one, owner two, owner three?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Tom, if
Sure.
you, for clarification purposes, it should not be able to finish, with the liens on the property, they shouldn't be able to sell it.
That's
because-
correct.
With the liens on the property, so at some point, there should be some closure to this.
Right. Yes.
Okay, any other questions? There being none? Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay? No nays. So we can look.
Case number 18-5268, City versus Mingwei Huang, for the property located at 5416 Rainbow Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 10-3B, sanitation grass weeds. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Jose Silva, code compliance. This case originated proactively November 29, 2018. My inspection revealed the yard and the rear yard grass of the residence overgrown. This time I issued door hangers with a compliance date of December 2nd, 2018. An inspection on December 3rd, 2018 revealed no change. A notice of violation was completed with a compliance date of December 13th, 2018. The home was vacant, so I posted the notice at the home as well as City Hall. Also mailed copies, both certified, regular mail, to the address of the registered owner. On December 18th, I inspected the property, found the yard grass still overgrown. This time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on December 3rd and December 18th. Exhibit number 1 is going to be the notice posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 and exhibit number 3 is going to be the overgrown front yard and overgrown rear yard.
The board will accept.
Thank you.
Is that, excuse me, is that gate, it was open, but is it able to be closed, or is it?
Yes, sir. As of January 7th, the yard and the grass have been cut, and that gate is closed now. I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
Wonderful. Board will accept.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Call for a motion. Mr. Snelling.
Based on the testimony of Code Compliance Officer Silva, presented to the board at this hearing, and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Min Wei Huang in case number 18-5268 to be guilty of violating section 10-3 subsection B of the city code, but because the property was brought into compliance before the date of this hearing, no fine shall be assessed.
Second by Newkirk. Any discussion on that? Call for a vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. No nays.
Case number 185345, City versus SunTrust for the property located at 1811 North River Hills Drive. This case has been pulled from the agenda due to a change of ownership. The new owner will be cited.
It's not on there updated. Is this the one that came out, was added today?
No,
No.
the new business item is what was added today.
Oh,
Yep, we already heard it.
I've lost.
So the following case was pulled. I think it was on your notes, I believe.
Oh, it was pulled.
It was pulled.
Okay. All right, sorry.
Now we're going to move on to unfinished cases.
Yes.
Case number 182293, City versus Walfredo and Mara Moreno for the property located at 412 Courtney Drive. The expiration of compliance is tonight at midnight. An affidavit of compliance for section 12-860 was submitted by Officer Silva dated January 2nd, 2019. Case number 18-3885, City versus Diplomat Property Manager LLC for property located at 107 South Greenfield Avenue. An affidavit of noncompliance for sections 8-102-14AB, 8-102-13C, and 10-4B3 was submitted by Officer Silver dated December 13th, 2018. Case number 183940, City versus Esther Elizabeth Foley for property located at 8712 Coral Dawn Court. An affidavit of noncompliance for section 10-3B was submitted by Officer Allen dated January 3rd, 2019. Case number 184204, City versus James and Anna Cunningham Clark for property located at 11733 Primrose Lane. The expiration of extended compliance is February 13th, 2019 at midnight. We ready for the lien list review?
I have a question for Tom. On this last one, has there been any communications? Hi, Lori.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I spoke with Mr. Clark on Friday, December the 31st, stopped by his house, and he is drawing up the plans, and will consult with Community Development, Amir, once the plans are drawn up for moving forward with the structural repairs of the house.
Does he look good for the 13th?
I'm hoping, sir.
I hope so. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm ready to move on.
Okay. The lien list review. I have affidavits of compliance tonight for case number 172440, City versus James B. Burns, 602 Courtney Drive. and the rest are all going to be affidavits of noncompliance tonight.
Okay.
For case number 0557B, City versus Jeffrey L. Rhodes and Bernica L. Rhodes, 708 Grand Circle. Case number 080292, City versus Christopher B. York, 7604 Leon Avenue. Case number 121424, City versus Stella Hunley Harrison, 9603 Overlook Drive. Case number 145858, City versus Melissa Gazzola Trustee, 13203 Sanctuary Cove Drive, Unit 304. Case number 152510, City versus Coyley Berry Jr., 10014 North 52nd Street. Case number 160300, City versus Stella Hunley Harrison for 9603 Overlook Drive. Case number 160491, City versus Richard D. Warren and Deborah L. Warren, 108 Mission Hills Avenue. Case number 162397, City versus Dudley A. Black, 9408 Hidden Ridge Place. Case number 172613, City versus Dudley A. Black, 9408 Hidden Ridge Place. Case number 172746, City versus James Stevens and Glenn Johnson, 104 Holland Avenue. Case number 172748, City versus Thrasher Investments LLC, 108 Holland Avenue. Case number 172786, City versus Anthony D. and Marcina L. Bobo, 7501 Okeechobee Court. Case number 180048, City versus Richter Vias Shawan and Riolani Green, 217 S. River Hills Drive. Case number 181014, City versus Gregory Brian Milton, 7818 Bolera Drive. Case number 182568, City versus Richter Vias Shawan and Riolani Green, 217 South River Hills Drive. Case number 183399, City versus Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., 311 Live Oak Avenue.
Ms. Shoshone, last month we talked about looking at some of these as possible city foreclosures, recommendations from the board. Have you looked into any of that yet, or you got a plan?
My plan is to do as you instruct. It wasn't at the last meeting, but the meeting before, it was brought up then. It's up to you all to determine which property you would like me to look at, pick whichever one or ones you'd like, you think are right to be foreclosed upon, and simply make a motion directing me to investigate that and report back to you. I think cost was brought up, and rather than us incur the cost, having the title searched by an outside company, it would give me the opportunity to try to do some research on the properties at no cost.
Right.
And I can report back to you as to what I find, and then you can make an informed decision as to whether you want me to begin foreclosure on that property, or on that lien.
Right.
So,
And on these, the asterisks on this sheet, the ones with the asterisks on them are homesteaded properties, and we can't do that.
we can't foreclose on those. And sometimes, we've looked up some of them in the past, when we were sending out our notifications. And some that did not show up on the property appraiser's website as being homestead, did turn out to be homesteaded. So it gives us, rather than jump right in and start a foreclosure proceeding that's gonna get kicked out because it's homestead, I can at least do the full research on it and determine whether it's eligible to be foreclosed. So,
That's what I'm asking. If you are, because you can look at this list and you can pick one or two that you might recommend to us. Because we don't know if there's any value, any assets or anything So I can pick one out of here tonight and say, well, let's look at 145,858. And it's like, a shot in the dark. Means nothing.
Right, it is. I mean, you have to determine your own criteria for which ones you would like me to consider starting a foreclosure proceeding on. It may depend on the size of the lien, how long the lien has existed. You know, ostensibly, you know the properties. If it's something that has essentially been abandoned and is sitting there empty, those are probably ones that I would recommend looking into first.
Yes.
We don't have a lot of abandoned properties here, fortunately. But from what I have learned from the city of St. Petersburg and the city of Tampa, and talking to their attorneys who deal with the foreclosures, and the attorneys as well that they hire to do some of these foreclosures, they have all said that they go after the low-hanging fruit first. And these are ones that are pretty well abandoned properties
Right.
and eyesores in the community, blighted properties,
Right.
because
Clean
they
up.
figure they're gonna get no opposition there. That's what they're hoping for.
Well, there's been
So-
no activity, so there probably isn't going to be any activity by anyone else either.
But, when we did look at all of the ones on the list, I think it was in August, and we sent out letters to all non-homesteaded properties on which we had liens. We've been getting a steady response. Some people didn't even realize that they had a lien
Right.
on their property.
Yeah.
One lady who I think you saw here, who asking for a reduction, she had bought it at a tax deed sale and had no idea that there was a lien on the property when she bought it. So only by virtue of us sending out these notices have we informed the people, and that's why I think you've seen at least one lien reduction, sometimes two, at each meeting
Yeah.
now, because people are aware and they're trying to do something about these now.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just make a recommendation?
Please.
Listening to, both sides. There's a case number 14-5858. This is actually a fire case. This is a non-homesteaded property, and the owner doesn't want the fire inspector to come inside the apartment. So that's why this fine's been going on since 2014.
Yep.
So this would be, I think, a perfect
One to
case
look
that
at.
we could look into, because it's being rented every day, and until today, it's still rented. So I believe that would be a property we may want to look into.
And that's a good one. That was just a shot in the dark. I
Okay.
just picked one.
I think we should start somewhere, so
Let's
that would
start
be
with
my
that one.
recommendation.
Do we all agree? Do we need?
Okay. Just to update you with some of the things that the Thrasher case, this was page 4, 17-2748. The building official and I have been both out there. This is a condemnation property. Just to let you know that the Thrasher family did not appeal the order. So the building official will be presenting at the next council meeting, February, 3 recommendations from demolition companies. So it'll be presented to the council sometime in February. Just wanted to update you with that property. And the other one was 311 Live Oak. I think that's the last case, 18-3399. Last week, a new owner came in, a potential new owner, and there should be a change of ownership at that property, and he's also going to bring the property into compliance. So I emailed him the notice of violation with all the violations, and he's supposed to bring the property in compliance.
That sounds positive.
Yeah, that's a positive thing. And also, I just wanted to update the board and Deputy Clerk Kristen Garcia and our husband, I think his name is Sergio.
Yes.
But if I'm incorrect, I apologize, but they had a baby boy New Year's Day.
Oh, really?
At 7, I believe it was New Year's Day at 7 a.m. So it didn't happen around midnight, it happened at 7 a.m., so I guess, but it was a 7-pound. What's that?
Baby Sergio as well.
Yes, yes. 7 pounds, and everybody's in Everybody's just very happy. Right. So,
Congratulations to them.
yes. And I just wanted to update getting back to Vincent Hernandez, that case. Before I presented that lien reduction, on numerous occasions, I told this guy numerous times,
I got
if you
it.
don't have the money in your pocket, please do not let me present this case. So he was well aware of what range I was going to be in when I made the recommendation. And I also told him numerous times to make sure that you have the money and you have 30 days. So he was well aware, and when he came in today, you had to see my face, but I wasn't a very happy person. Okay, so I just want to let the board know, I did everything I could to warn him what his obligations were at the council meeting.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, so
I
I just
think-
want to throw that out there.
I think there isn't anything we can do about it. But I would guess that the fact that he was here and the powers to be in the city, not us.
Right.
So we don't deal in dollars and cents.
This is
other
a
than the
territory
fines.
that I've never been across except Mr. Holland's property. And Joe Gross handled that at that time, and I really was new as an inspector, and I really didn't really understand what was going on.
Stay away,
So, but this territory I've never ventured. What's that?
Doesn't come up on.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Realize I'm new to the board, but rather than us coming up here and trying to debate which ones we ought to go after next, is there a way for you to come with a suggestion next time on what might be your top three?
Okay. If
So
the-
that we can just move on rather than, how about this one, how about this one?
Okay.
I mean, you probably have the most institutional knowledge of anybody.
I could do that for the board.
And some of it's easy, I mean, if it's homestead, obviously you're not gonna be able to do it.
Right, right.
And, I know we did, said right here, we did some asset searches on some people years ago.
Okay.
That may give you any interest as to whether or not we can do it.
I'll handle that task. I'll take care of
Can
that.
I ask that we add to that pictures of the top three, or whoever you're recommending, a picture of that property?
I could do that.
In its current state.
Okay.
Well, we have to remember that they have never come into compliance.
I understand, but if it's
So,
continued to
could be
decline,
pretty
it may
bad.
be low-hanging fruit.
We're okay with that?
Maybe easier to identify the low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
That's
you.
it. Thank you.
Where are we now? There being no additional business to come before the board, a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second it, all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
That was good.